I look great. I look like I'm having a heart attack.
How are you? Are you feeling grey? Are you feeling blue? Are you feeling happy? What are you feeling?
What are you feeling?
Sad? Yeah, no, I'm quite good. I mean, I think the thing is, you look out into the world and you just feel there's so many fucking horrendous things going on. So at the moment, I've got some hot cross buns in the oven that are baking, and I'm trying to focus on them. Going out with Maddie a bit later, focus on that, and try not to think too much as the wider world. Aren't you? Are you the same? Yeah.
And yet I think it's also a duty and a responsibility to remain plugged in at all times. So it's.
But I think for a lot of us at the moment, it's about being plugged in to a degree, but they're just like having to pull yourself back from a break from it, because I mean, not only of course what's going on in Ukraine and everywhere, but this country.
Well, we'll get onto that in a minute.
It's falling to pieces.
We'll get into
also,
that.
Yeah, it's a sad day with June. Actually, I'm going to be on Loose Women, kind of at the beginning, just from here. They're doing a little chat with me from here about June. So yeah, if you fancy seeing that, I'll be on Loose Women right at the beginning of it, really.
Tracy Lynham says, I'm off to Pontins, Camber Sands Friday with a 2 and a 3-year-old and their great-grandmother on the other side. My younger... Oh, have a lovely time. Say hello to Camber Sands.
I love Camber Sands. We go there in the winter sometimes when it's nice and quiet, so I suppose it'd be nice and quiet now as well.
Hi, Nanny Di. Oh, have a good time, Tracy. Hi, Lior. Hi, Sally O'Sullivan, Margaret O'Brien, Hazel Malbon, Jenny Matthews, Nicola Higgins, Julie Evitts, Maria S., Wilma Sanderson, Dixon Summit, Elsa Pop, Claire L.C., Jill Lister, and the list goes on. Creatorholic, Melly Mel, Brenda M., Emma Carter. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Yeah, morning, feel crap today. Don't know why. Anxiety, says Olias. Yeah, I think a lot of people are feeling that. I think it's all right to say we don't really know why. It's just the anxiety of the world, isn't it? We thought the pandemic was the worst thing. And
I think it's all right. I think almost it's like there's a feeling that even the Ukraine thing is slightly in the rearview window, though of course it absolutely isn't. But because it slips down, I mean, I think what's
stuff.
I think it's getting really dark and underhand and twisted. I think as soon as you start looking away from it,
it's
it gets
feeling
really
more
tricky.
like a genocide now.
So that's kind of there. So that's a really huge bruise on the global sort of
That's a good
stage.
way to put it. A huge bruise. Wound.
Well,
really.
and then you've got the bruise. Then let's use the bruise analogy for COVID. And then you've got just the sort of forecast,
cost of living.
the forecast on things just looking challenging.
Bleak, very, very bleak.
So it's no surprise that as everyone kind of scrambles towards Easter, or rather doesn't scramble, kind of goes, Easter, Easter, Easter. It's really, really refreshing and lovely to see all these headlines saying Easter travel chaos, and we haven't even hit Easter. I mean, in London, I've received 3 messages this morning describing the extent to which the tube system and the train system won't be running. Apparently, the tubes to Heathrow won't be running over Easter weekend.
Can you actually believe this? This country is literally falling to pieces. If anyone votes for the bloody Tories again, you've got to be completely mad, because I know there's been the pandemic, I know that. But they have mismanaged money. Every day on LBC, I hear a new shocking fact and figure of where they've wasted money.
But what about the okay, well, here's the argument about the London transport and the transport infrastructure is. It has to be done. It's been delayed. They have to keep it up to a certain standard. When is the best time to repair your infrastructure?
You know what that is? Oh, guys, you're just going to have to wait for 1 minute. Mark's just got to film the hot cross buns coming out of the oven for the No Name Sunday show. Wait there. Come on, Mark. Wait, get your camera.
Okay, we'll literally be back. We'll literally be back. Have a chat amongst yourselves.
So.
Hang on 1 second, I've got the camera.
Oh my God. I'm not going to reveal what I see because I want that to be a surprise for the No Name Sunday. There we go.
I'm not ready for it.
Oh.
There we go.
There we go. Wow. What do you think, Mark?
God, they're enormous.
And now I'm just going to brush the glaze really over.
Conscious.
So I've got a tablespoon of sugar.
Ooh.
And a tablespoon melted with a tablespoon of boiling water.
Make sure you do it all over.
And that's just made a really nice syrup. So, and then we're just going to leave those.
God, they look really plump.
We had a bit of a disaster at Coffee Moaning lot with these, but all will be revealed on Sunday. Oh my God.
Well done, a real success.
Honestly, you will not believe. They've taken 2 days to make those hot cross buns. They smell amazing. And I've taken out all the things that I hate in a hot cross bun, like candied peel. So we'll be having that we'll be having one of those after this with a cup of coffee, and it'd be rather nice. But if you're new to the channel, if you're wondering what the hell we're talking about, we have a members area that costs 37 pence a week. And in the members area, we do something called the No Name Sunday show every Sunday. Sometimes it's live, sometimes it's recorded. We do food, we do memes of the week. My dad tells stories of his life. We do book reviews. We do the newspapers sometimes if it's live. And it's just a fab show. And that's what I've cooked for it.
A full family affair.
Yeah.
So let me just read this to you. Any Londoners here? I realise just for a moment that this will be off piece for any. So tube travellers have been warned that there'll be no Piccadilly line to Heathrow for the entire weekend. This is like starving the airports of their major artery. You have to use
adding a huge cost for people that are going to have to get a cab.
Yeah, get cabs and things like that. The Northern Line will be closed between Charing Cross and Battersea Power Station. The Hammersmith and City Line will see no service on Good Friday. I mean, it's like when people are down and they're trying to get around, and it has to be said, you know, London transport is pretty hideous at the best of times. This is just going to completely grind people down. District line's shut. Mum, this will affect you. Overground is shut. District line, Piccadilly line between Rainers. I mean, so guys, the question is, because we always hear this, don't we? We're either in traffic or on a bus or on a tube, and we're like, why now? When is the right time for them to do their vital repairs? Is it the devil in the deep blue sea for these people? Is there ever a right time? Is there ever a right time? Do they have to sort of juggle between happy time versus work time? Flights getting cancelled, Sir Nicola Higgins, too many staff off sick. Yeah, EasyJet. Well, Nadia's going to sort of share with you her fears. Reese Roberts, the tubes are in such a disarray. Constant strikes on Friday and Saturday on the Central and Victoria lines. Yeah, there's picket lines outside bus depots as well in London. There were literally no buses the other day. One of our girls wanted to get into Central London. There was no way to get into Central London on public. Can you believe that? So definitely, Kerry Gracie says, I don't know when they should do all the vital repairs, but definitely not on a bank holiday. I suppose we could agree when not to do it. Do you think they should look at their diary and go, just circle that and just put that to the side?
At night.
At night. Happy birthday, Anna. Anna Charalambus, it's your birthday. Happy birthday with me, Nads. Anna, birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Anna Charalambus. Happy birthday to you. So, of course, if the tubes are all that bad and if the trains are all that bad and the airports are going to be packed, what are the roads going to be like?
Oh my God, don't.
I'm going to be gardening. That's what I'm going to be doing. It's going to be a traditional gardening weekend for me.
I'm telling them what I'm doing.
And why don't you tell them what you're doing? You're your own boss.
I can't believe what I'm doing. I was so excited about this. First time away abroad for how long? Going on a little loose women holiday, and guess what I'm flying? EasyJet. Yep, EasyJet on Saturday. And the girls are going out before me, so they'll all be there, and I bet I'll spend my whole time on the bloody motorway or sat in the lounge or so annoyed. Spain, I'm going to Spain. I know, I'm gutted. But I've made a decision, and what it is, I will vlog it. I will vlog my journey. And the decision is that I'm just going to let God. There's nothing I can do. I am powerless. I will go. I will get there in plenty of time. Apparently, one of the problems is people have been going really, really, really early to the airport because they want to avoid the crush. And so there's no staggering of people. So I'm just going to go the normal 2 hours before the flight.
But is that wise?
Well,
Because
That's what they want people to do, because they said a lot of the problems will be solved if people don't come 4 hours before their
But
flight.
can I say, I think there's a little
I've
bit
got a
of...
really early flight.
There's a little bit of kind of, I don't know, it's a bit like when the government tries to gaslight the population. I do find it a bit annoying when people say, but the reason there's a problem is because everyone's doing something early. Maybe everyone's going early because it's their first chance to go on holiday.
Well, I
They've
totally
spent a lot of money and they're very fearful of not getting on a flight.
Well, I totally understand it. That's why I said, like, when I booked it, when all this kicked off, I said, right, I'm just going to go 4 hours before my flight instead of 2. But then today they've been calling for people not to do that.
People are saying you should vlog at the airport.
Oh, I'm going to
Because
vlog.
no one's seen airport action yet. Least of all me.
Exactly. This will be your first. We've got
Yeah.
a couple of little trips we're doing to vlog, because we said we need to vlog something out of this country.
Yeah.
So we're doing a couple of vlogs through.
So I'm going to be marching through the foothills of the Atlas Mountains in Morocco at some point. Yeah. How would you, if one does that, how do you, well, how long will the portable chargers last for?
Depends how many you take.
5.
About 8 hours, I think.
5. I took 5 and rationed. Sophie R, I have literally, Michelle has sent me the trailer for Under the Banner of Heaven. Me and Nadia will do it later today, I promise you.
Remember the vlog in Berlin, EasyJet? How could we forget? And do you remember I said I was never flying EasyJet again? But then you go and look at British Airways.
Oh yeah, but their whole tech system keeps going down.
And the cost.
But the tech system.
The cost of everything to go abroad is quite extraordinary, actually.
It's funny, Reese Roberts says how technically this is the
I'm glad
first
to hear
Easter
that,
holiday in
Gabrielle.
2 years where we should be out doing stuff and can't actually do hardly anything in London.
Because everything is cancelled. I mean,
Sorry,
I felt
cancelled.
so sorry for the girls yesterday. They all had plans
Yeah,
to
just
go up
said.
into town, and they waited like an
hour.
hour and a half, and they just kept saying cancel, cancel, cancel. Disgusting.
Yeah. I think I would still go early, says Faith, because flights do not wait for you. Yeah.
It's hard, isn't it?
Morning, Claire Smiley. Hi, Sophie.
I've got a really early flight, though.
Oh, you'll be all right.
I might stay the night in the airport. Do you want
Yeah.
to stay the night with me?
No, thanks. Even lodges in the UK are over 3,000 for a... I mean, everyone is hiking... Well, to be fair, everyone's not only hiking their prices up, but also everyone's trying to clamber what they've lost. So, you know, I can see it from all sides.
And somebody there saying they haven't got their card yet. I know you're having to be so patient,
A
guys,
whole
but
heap
bear
went
with
out
us.
yesterday.
It is our fault. It's not anyone else's fault. It's our fault. We've got so many to do because of all the 24 months.
Yeah, we
members have come up.
We have been slightly
So
overwhelmed.
we're working through alphabetical order.
Yeah. And we're doing sort of 15 every day to
Yeah.
make sure that they go out. So,
If you're wondering what we're talking about, in the members area, when somebody's been there 24 months, they get a signed photograph from Mark and I. So
and there will be a Members Live coming soon as well. And with those cards, I think we're up to date, bar the last Members Live. So they should all be out. What was I going to say? So, yeah, so Easter travel. So, I don't know, Easter chaos, and we haven't even hit the Easter weekend. It's just, you know, what the hell.
God, I tell you what, I'm so glad I didn't book a flight on Friday, because I was going to try and go straight after loose swimming because I was in town and all of that. But the flight, I would have had exactly an hour to get there and then have an hour pre-check-in. There's no way I would have done it. No way. I was just about to press the button and I was like, oh, I've done my eyebrows very well today, I must say. And then, do you like my eyebrows?
Yeah, they're really nice, actually.
Good, aren't they?
Yeah. I like your whisker as well.
Is it grown again?
Yeah, it's fast, isn't it? I want to know what's happening on the other side of that whisker. Is there a little kind of follicle going?
God, it's very hot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of coming from you.
Okay, so what next?
Well, the sort of serious topic of the day really is the trans women and toilets, which is they're chatting about on LBC this
Talking
morning.
about it everywhere, actually.
And this is the debate as to whether trans women should be banned from single-sex changing rooms and toilets. And it's
You said that headline is wrong.
transgender women can be legally banned from single-sex toilets and changing rooms, the Equalities Watchdog has declared.
No, it's not. It's
Oh.
when they're transitioning.
Right.
It's when they haven't had the operation. It's not.
Right.
That.
So I just
because Nick Ferrari kept on making that point
Right.
because it's the
So the
headline is
LBC's own
misleading.
website has got the headline wrong.
Well, it is a misleading headline. Well, I mean, if he's to be believed, he kept saying no. It's if you haven't yet had your operation.
Jason Binion, we do listen to LBC every morning because I tell you why LBC up and above most other Sky News as well. I think the reason I like LBC is that you're not just hearing the jaded opinions of the presenter, you're getting the voice of the people.
That's why I like it.
And
'cause
that,
I've-
yeah.
But also, the reason I listen to Nick Ferrari, who by all intents and purposes, I hear from anyone that
he's a
everyone that
lovely
knows him,
chap.
says he's a really lovely chap. But our politics are couldn't be more different.
Yeah.
Our opinions couldn't be more different. I mean, I'm literally shouting at the radio, but I think that's good for us to listen. If we're only ever in an echo chamber hearing back on ourselves what we think, like when I listen to James O'Brien, I agree our politics are the same. So it's really important. That's why I always listen.
What I love about LBC is however much you try, it can't become an echo chamber. Apart from sometimes I do think actually James O'Brien and Nick Ferrari sometimes end up sort of just putting out one opinion. But I do think of all the kind of news gatherers, news presenters, media outlets, it's the one where at the very least you can hear what real people are really feeling and thinking about things.
And my God, like sometimes on here, you know, I think so, I'm so sure that I think something, and then one of you guys will say something, and I'm like, God, I never thought like that. So I think we like to think of this a bit like that it's a wider conversation.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
A couple of points already coming in on the transgender women and toilets. Tracy
what are you
Lynham,
thinking?
what are they going to do? Put people on willy watch?
Well, exactly. That's what we were saying. How is this going to be policed?
And Gabrielle says, if it's a cubicle and none can see you, who cares? Now, for me, the cubicle answer feels like it's the answer to everything.
Me too.
I think the cubicle... I mean, the other night we were at a do where, as we all shuffled off to go to the loo, as you know, liberal men and women, we all wandered into a shared space, and we all kind of went a bit... I mean, I
hated it.
I think privacy and toiletry is what it's about, rather than really even whether you're transitioning, men or women.
I'm married to you, and I didn't like that toilet area where we went in.
That's what I mean.
And it was a corridor,
Yeah.
and there was men and women. So there's still the individual toilets, and I just didn't like it at all. But maybe that's just because we have to change.
But can I sort of take the heat? I sometimes think that people want this to become a bit of a hot potato about your anti-trans rights, your anti-women's rights, all this kind of stuff. Why don't we just all campaign for total privacy when we use the loo?
Yeah.
For whoever we are. I mean, I recognise that for some public establishments that's kind of difficult, but I think, you know, I think there has to be sort of...
cubicle, third space option, is that not the obvious solution? Well, yes, it is.
I said that today, Michu.
Yeah.
And then you said what?
Well, there was a transgender. She described herself as a transgender woman who rang up today. Tabitha was her name on LBC, and she was so lovely. She sounded
really good point by Lior in a minute.
She sounded kind of elderly, and she said, "I'm transitioning. I've been doing everything that you have to do. I've lived 365 days as a woman. I dress as a woman. I talk as a woman. I live my life as a woman." And I haven't yet had the operation because she has to go through all the psychology and all of that, the psychological tests and all of that. And she said, the idea for me to go into a male toilet is completely impossible. And I've really felt for her. I was like, well, of course it is. And there's probably a huge chance that you'd be under enormous risk of being beaten up. But then, and Nick was saying, well, you wouldn't have to do that. With what they're suggesting, because she hadn't yet had the operation, you would have to go to another toilet. Well, all good and well. It's a tiny cafe. A person doesn't say whether they've had the operation. How the hell would this be able to be policed?
No, I agree. And can I just, a really important point Leo makes, not all trans want the op. It's the identity. It's not all about genitals. Right. Some just have the hormones. Where the fuck are they supposed to go to the toilet? The men's, they'll get beaten up.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
It's very complicated, this, isn't it? And I do understand also the arguments that I've read from some women that have been assaulted, sexually assaulted by men, and they feel nervous. So we have to take into account everybody's feelings in this, and it might end up being one of those where we can't keep everyone happy.
It might be, but I do think where possible, you just keep as many private cubicles as possible. I think the days of the shared toilets maybe need to become a thing of the past.
Somebody just said there, it wouldn't be so bad if men weren't such bad shots. Men's toilets are disgusting.
Go to our How to Stay Married.
Mark talks about that.
Yeah, look, I tell you what, no one knows how bad a man's toilet is than a man. I'm telling you that right now. I ashamed. Hideous. It's just horrendous. I mean, you know, and also going to the toilet in a public toilet at all. I mean, I'm one of those people. I can't go to the loo if there's another man standing next to me. I just can't. You know, I don't know why we can't have privacy.
You always say that, don't you? You say you just hate urinals.
I hate them.
I think
especially when you're there and men sort of like sidle up alongside you and they engage you in conversation. Oh, I don't want to have a chat with you. I'm going for a wee.
As Leo says, if everybody's got a private cubicle, nobody can be in any way threatened or offended.
Yeah. So if you're an establishment, say a cafe that only has one toilet, you have to make a notice. Unfortunately, if there's one toilet, that anyone can use it individually at any time. Which we all do all the time. Which we all do anyway. Yeah. So I think that has to be the way around it. Ava Greenall, my son is trans, and he says that the media coverage is the cause of many of the issues he faces, especially as a spotlight always shines on the plight of trans women instead of the wider conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was really lovely today to hear on the radio a number of trans women calling up, and because the media will have you believe that everybody in the trans community is rabid and crazy and going completely mad about everything. And of course, that's never the case with any community. So, yeah, it was really good to hear just really like solid, you know, heartfelt arguments. For where they were coming from, you know.
Yeah, me too. Jackie Villino, they should do away with urinals. I was staggered and shocked. When you cross Shaftesbury Avenue, where it meets Tottenham Court Road, there's a public
outdoor
urinal. One of those four-way ones, open. And I was walking across...
it's to try and stop people pissing on the street.
But I was walking across 2 days ago, and there was a guy using it at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon with just touristy London going. I thought... I can't do that in a toilet on my own with the fear that someone's coming in.
Never came back from a restaurant and there was that man pissing in the street.
But this was in a public urinal.
This is in public.
I don't know how you can... I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. How can you go to the toilet at Shaftesbury Avenue on the road in a public urinal and not seize up?
Oh, disgusting.
Anyway, so I think...
There we go. Look, Sophie R, as a sexual assault survivor, I felt really, really uncomfortable with shared toilets. Always, I'm afraid. Absolutely, Sophie, and that's what we've been talking about this morning. We've been chatting. Those people's feelings have to be taken into account.
It's Only Me has a good point. Disabled toilets are used by all genders, and they're always clean.
Not always. I was in one the other day.
but the concept of a disabled loo works quite well, doesn't it?
Because I was in one of those mixed. It was the only loo. That was quite good, because sometimes when there's only one loo, they should make that a disabled loo. Because if a disabled person is in there, there's no loo for them at all. I mean, I think for disabled people, this must be such an interesting argument, because they felt left out of this for so many years in so many different ways.
Yeah. Have you ever used a female urinal?
Just said something. Let's see what Lisa...
Have you ever used a female urinal?
No, you can't do a urinal as a female.
There is. The main argument surrounds the issue of self-ID, but unfortunately it seems to have blurred lines between self-ID and trans. It's very complicated.
It's so complicated.
So complicated.
It's like such a head fuck.
It really is. I just wanted to quickly talk about Madonna. A lot of people are very concerned. Did anyone see her latest TikTok post? Madonna baffles fans with bizarre kissing TikTok video after wild Instagram posts. Lots of people asking if she's okay. I mean, you know, she's a curiosity, and I follow her because I don't know why, I find all her stuff really odd and entertaining. And she sort of makes spectacular misjudgments. I think she got a bit of stick for cutting together montage of the Ukrainian conflict to one of her songs, and it kind of tonally it kind of went the wrong way. But I just wondered I just felt that there's a current clip where the camera just moves in and out to herself as she's sort of mouthing the lyrics. She doesn't look very well.
Do you think she's just gone very arty and creative though?
She possibly.
I do have to say her face is very warped now. We should stop.
I mean, she was. One of my biggest first crushes was Madonna. Sophie R. The Madonna clip is terrifying. Yeah, I've been trying to find it because.
God, I want to see it now.
Well, yeah, let me see if I can. She's taken it down since people have.
What is terrifying about it?
Well, let me show you it.
In how unwell she looks.
Yeah, this is it here. I'm just showing it to Nads.
Can't you show it to them?
Oh, no, can't. She's sort of mouthing. I'm gonna take it.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna take it back. I can't play the.
But she can't move her mouth properly.
Excuse me. You know the
Well,
song.
it's just her being very creative.
So you know the song, and she's mouthing the lyrics. What has she got? Has she got sort of contacts in?
I think she's just doing the thing that Donna does, which is always to shock and outrage.
Shock and outrage. Yeah, well, I hope so. I mean, I think a number of her fans are just slightly worried that maybe she's just, getting a bit too. She's very angry that her nipples were taken off Instagram, I think.
Which I get. It's like, oh, for God's sake, I agree with her. It's like,
Oh, I
come
agree.
on.
Yeah, get over nipples.
God
but no,
almighty.
I think it's more that fans are more worried.
That's a filter, someone's saying.
Is it? That does the eyes. Apparently it's not her.
Oh,
Really? It
because
looks
look
like
at her
her.
teeth. She
I
hasn't
think
got
it's a
crooked
filter.
teeth.
The iconic singer swerved last night's Grammys and took to social media to share a short close-up video of her pouting face. Staring into the camera, she's moving closer and closer to the lens, turning her plump lips into a pout. She recently
God,
shot
look at the bitchiness of
No.
newspapers there. Her plump lips. Oh, I wonder what you're suggesting there, but you can't say it. It's just so obvious.
That's a TikTok filter, says Pete Burns look, says Mayboo. Absolutely. Anyway, so that came up today, and she took it down. It was on her official site, but also
Oh, she took it down? That's
Yeah.
interesting. She doesn't usually take
no, she
stuff.
doesn't take stuff down. She doesn't like being bullied.
Maybe she'd had 3 glasses of rosé.
I think. Do you
We've
remember
all
when
done
she
that,
sang
haven't
that
we?
song
Film
about
something,
pasta?
put it up, think it's fantastic after a couple of glasses of rosé.
Remember that wonderful clip of her singing about was it about carbonara or pasta in her bath
God,
or something?
that was so- in
that
the
was fun.
pandemic, that
But
was-
she's also had a tattoo
So what?
with her son David Banda. She added a tattoo to her wrist saying "Maman."
Maman.
Maman.
I'm
Maman.
doing Duolingo French now.
So what does maman mean?
Mother.
Oh, of course. There you go. So there's Madonna, but alongside Madonna, so you've got these huge sort of towering infernos of musical strength, and Kanye's just pulled out of how do you say it? Coachella.
Coachella.
Kanye's pulled out of Coachella at short notice. Apparently, the suggestion is that he hadn't rehearsed or prepared for it.
Well, he's not right at the minute, is he? He's not.
Oh no.
You know what
Talk
I am?
about leaving them in the
I'm
lurch,
just
though.
so pleased that he's stopped with the public stuff against Kim and
Yeah.
and because it was just getting ridiculous. That it was horrible for him, for them. It was scary for them. They were getting all sorts of death threats and horrible threats. So it feels like somebody is taking care of him now, which is what he needs because he's not well.
Yeah, someone needs to manage it.
I mean,
doesn't
he's not on Coachella because he's not well, and we are the first people to say that a mental health illness is just as important as a physical one, and if his mental health isn't good,
Well, Reese Roberts says, yeah, apparently it's because he disagrees with the stage production and wants to do it on his own terms.
God, oh, that was me being all like magnanimous
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Oh, he's just
Generous.
off on one again.
Oh, God, he just doesn't like
Being
having...
an egomaniac.
Just a final couple of stories before we head off. This one kind of hasn't really made the headlines, but Amy Schumer, who was one of the hosts of the Oscars, obviously overwhelmed and overshadowed by the slap by Will Smith, in response to either a sort of, misjudged or wrong gag from Chris Rock. Lots of debate as to whether he actually knew whether Jada Pinkett Smith was struggling with alopecia or not. And the discussion, Lee, I know you've talked about this, goes back to what extent should comedians be allowed to joke about anything? Well, Amy Schumer, in a gig in Las Vegas, was talking about a joke that she wasn't allowed to use during the ceremony, where she said it was going to be a gag around the topic of the Don't Look Up film, which was nominated. She said, Don't Look Up is the name of a movie. She was going to say more like Don't Look Down the Barrel of Alec Baldwin's Shotgun.
Oh, God.
And I know-
Absolutely right, that shouldn't be allowed. This poor woman died.
Yeah, well, there you go. And she also had jokes about Joe Rogan and James
God.
Franco up her sleeve. But it does bring you back to the question. Yeah, but isn't it hard to police this? And
It is really hard to police it.
And
And I wouldn't say anything if she did say that, but I would not find that funny.
Yeah, what do
the
you
woman
think,
is
guys?
dead. She's not even cold in her grave. She's got a young child.
I agree.
What is it funny? Is it funny? Because to some people that would be funny. Some people found the Will Smith funny. So it's a really difficult
It's a
question
difficult one
with
because, and I'd
comedy.
be really fascinated, Lee, to know what you think. What do you guys think as well? I mean, obviously Lee, because he does stand up. It's that thing of you have to have one rule of acceptance for all jokes. Should everything be allowed?
I mean, I don't think you can
because
allow
when I read
racist.
that joke about
I think
Helena
anything
Hutchins, I
that's
was shocked.
racist, anything that's homophobic,
Mm-hmm.
anything that is against children, I think those are bans.
Right.
But I think you kind of otherwise have to have freedom in comedy.
So what about that one where she has a joke about Helena Hutchins's death?
I think it's just in really poor taste, but I don't think you can get into banning that.
Right. What do you think, guys?
Because what's one person's poor taste is another person's hilarious.
Well, that's it.
But I think racist, homophobic, something incites violence.
I agree. Yeah.
Hate speech is no.
But it shows you again. I just thought it was an interesting one because if
What do
she'd
you
actually
think,
had
Lee?
that, if she'd actually done that gag at the do, I think we'd have all felt, oh God, that's a bit close
I
to
can't
the
believe
bone.
she found it funny.
Sophie, Ricky Gervais famously believes that
Yeah.
absolutely nothing is off topic and everything can be made fun
Yeah.
of. Mm.
And part of me what gets that, understands that and the reasoning behind it. But
James Sarah 59, her lawyers advised her
really
against
hard.
it. I don't find that funny, but my humour isn't the same as everyone's. It should be her
Exactly.
choice, surely. It's
Exactly.
her career. I suppose in a sense you could argue if you're the comedian, you're taking the risk, you'll receive the judgment. Everyone can deal with offence, I guess you could argue. So if you're willing to put your neck on the line as a comedian, knowing the backlash you
Yeah.
could get, I suppose what we could argue is you've got the right to take the risk. You shouldn't be prevented from being able to say it, but you have to suffer the consequences.
yeah.
Yeah, do you think? Okay, well, I just thought that was good, yeah. And just finally, I just had to read this out because when do you get a headline like this? Lamb chops stuffed in car exhaust amid spate of mystery meat attacks.
Oh my God! And on that note, I'm going to go and get
Yeah.
my hot cross buns.
And I just
put
thought
them
that-
on the wiring rack.
Put that in your search engine and find out. It's a
Love you
bizarre story.
guys.
Guys, have a lovely
Bye.
day.